In a small village, there lived a curious boy named Ben who was in charge of looking after the sheep. Each day, Ben would take the sheep to the meadow and watch over them. At first, he enjoyed his job, but as time passed, he grew bored. The days felt long and uneventful. One sunny afternoon, feeling particularly restless, Ben decided to have some fun. He ran to the edge of the meadow and shouted, "Wolf, Wolf." There's a wolf attacking the sheep. The villagers, who cared deeply for their livestock, dropped what they were doing and rushed to Ben's aid. When they arrived, they found Ben laughing and the sheep calmly grazing. "Ben, why did you do that?" one villager asked, frowning. "I was just bored," Ben replied with a mischievous grin. The villagers shook their heads and returned to their work, muttering about the boy's prank. A few days later, Ben grew bored again. Remembering how exciting it had been when the villagers ran to his rescue, he decided to play the same trick. "Wolf, Wolf," he shouted. The villagers, though skeptical, hurried to help. Once again, they found no wolf, just Ben laughing at their expense. "Ben, this isn't funny," another villager said sternly. "You shouldn't cry wolf when there is no danger." But Ben only shrugged, amused by his own joke. The next week, while Ben was watching over the sheep, he heard a rustling in the bushes. His heart skipped a beat when he saw a real wolf emerge from the trees, its eyes gleaming hungrily. Terrified, Ben screamed, "Wolf, Wolf, please help. There's a real wolf this time." But this time, the villagers did not come running. They had grown weary of Ben's lies and did not believe him. The wolf chased the sheep, scattering them in all directions. Ben tried to fend off the wolf, but he was no match for the fierce animal. When the villagers finally realized that Ben's cries were genuine, they rushed to the meadow, but it was too late. The wolf had scared away many of the sheep, and Ben was left trembling with fear. An old man approached Ben and placed a comforting hand on his shoulder. "Ben, do you see now why it's important to always tell the truth?" he asked gently. "When you lie, people lose their trust in you, and when you finally tell the truth, no one believes you." Ben nodded, tears streaming down his face. He felt ashamed and sorry for his foolish behavior. The villagers, seeing his genuine remorse, decided to help him gather the scattered sheep. They worked together, and by the end of the day, most of the sheep were safely back in the meadow. From that day on, Ben never cried wolf again unless there was real danger. He learned the value of honesty and the importance of trust. The villagers forgave him, and he became known as the most trustworthy shepherd in the village. Ben's days were still long, but he found joy in doing his job well and knowing that he had the trust of the entire village. The lesson Ben learned stayed with him throughout his life, reminding him that trust, once broken, is hard to rebuild. He became a responsible young man, always careful with his words and actions, and he taught others the importance of honesty by sharing his own story. Moral: trust is hard to rebuild once broken. Always be honest and reliable, as your integrity impacts not just your own life, but also the lives of those around you. Thank you for taking the time to enjoy this story.